Welcome back to Lantern Insights, and on this channel, I'm a big proponent of testing with cards that sometimes have been cast aside by the Lantern community or labeled as not good, not worth it, and seeing how they actually work. And we are doing that today with Scheming Symmetry. For those of you unfamiliar with this card, it was printed in Core Set 2020, many years ago. It's a 1 mana black instant. It's basically a vampiric tutor for 2 people. So you give your opponent a card. However, we are able to mill the top card. So in theory, it should be okay. The only requirement is that it needs something to go with it. So how do we break the symmetry of Scheming Symmetry? We have Codex Shredder, obviously, which lets you mill the top card of your opponent's deck. We are playing a full playset of Surgical Extraction across the main deck and sideboard, as they can tutor something and then you surgical it. The other option is Mox Opal, where you can play Symmetry on your turn, crack Mox Opal, draw the card in your upkeep, and then use Ghoulcaller's Bell in order to mill both of you, but your card you'll have already drawn. You'll notice we're playing Ghoulcaller's Bell, and that is because it works well with Surgical Extraction. It's better than Pixis when you're playing Surgical Extraction. In terms of the rest of the deck, obviously very heavy black base shell, but then we're splashing red for the sideboard cards. I really was thinking about what color to pair with black. I think I think red is very viable with things like Pyroclasm, Magus of the Moon, Molten Collapse, as good removal spell of kind of the Nightlight shell. Um, I think it's hard to fit a lot of red cards main deck when you have Surgical Extraction. So some of it is some matchups where Surgical comes out, some of these red cards can come in. I think the other color you could consider is white. So if you're playing white, your sideboard would consist of things like Get Lost, Hushbringer would kind of be the white cards. But overall, going to be playing, yeah, just the classic Lantern and Snaring Bridge with Scheming Symmetry as our tutor. I will say one advantage that it does have is it makes it easier to empty your hand for bridge. So it doesn't put the card into your hand, it puts it on top of your library, which is card disadvantage, but if it's bridge we're tutoring for, that might be just fine. So let's see how it does. As always, if you're interested in Lantern Control and want to continue to see developments in the deck, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, help boost Lantern in the algorithm, get some more eyeballs on Lantern Control. And if you're interested in early access to videos, sideboard guides, and want to support the channel, we have memberships available as well. So I appreciate all of you, and I will see you in round one. Well, we are starting round one on a mulligan, but doing what we do here on the channel and challenging some conventional wisdom. We do keep a symmetry here without a way of breaking the symmetry, but I think we have enough ways around it. Well, we're gonna take the Allosaurus Rider, see if we can get some revenge against Neoform for the last game, and definitely not something we want to just fire off the symmetry without without an answer. There are a few decks where game one they have nothing they can get. Not too common. Also, Torpor Orb, not bad here. Of course, a lot of this does depend on us drawing a second land, because they're gonna have Neoform plus Eldritch Evolution. So it's whether they find Allosaurus Rider. Surgical Extraction for the Rider would be great here, and they are really taking their time on this hedge maze. And they graveyard a Planar Genesis, which I think is good for us. And Academy Ruins does mean that if we find a Ghoulcaller's Bell, um, that's one of our break the symmetry cards. And yeah, Torpor Orb's pretty strong against them, and they did not leave Consigned to Memory up. Not a lot of people playing main deck. Well, not a lot of decks, I should say, playing main deck Torpor Orb. It's definitely gotten more popular in the Lantern community. Because when you're playing a bunch of tutors, these one like singleton hate pieces become a lot more powerful. They are going to have some good digging off of Planar Genesis. We'll see. I mean, if we have Torpor Orb plus Bridge, that probably severely limits their options. Then we probably got a Needle Grizzlebrand would probably be the next card. And that is one of the best things we can draw here. I wonder if they counter it with Consigned to Memory. Kind of forgot they had that. Yeah, we're gonna scheming Symmetry here. And I think we know they have a Consigned to Memory in hand. So I kind of like the argument of getting Urza Saga. Make constructs and get Grafdigger's Cage. We could just directly go for Grafdigger's Cage and say there's very little ways they can beat us around that. Okay, they're gonna fetch first, but with Codex Shredder it doesn't really matter. And I think this is, although I mean, they have Planar Genesis. We're gonna grab it. If they use the consign on a Nurza Saga trigger, we just play Ensnaring Bridge and we're happy with that game. We do kind of, yeah, I guess like they do have instant speed draw, which is obviously one of the best things they can be doing. But we'll see if they just fire off the Genesis. And we got a mill. So they're gonna use the Genesis, so it is something they want. We'll see if this backfires. I don't know exactly what they'd get. Maybe a Boseiju. Maybe a light. Well, they got 3 unknowns in hand. And they play a top land, meaning we can get Ensnaring Bridge down, which I think is probably correct to go for. Make the construct tokens anyway the next turn. And if they have Boseiju, they have to pick if they want it on Torpor Orb or Bridge. And I'm pretty good with that. They force a negation, maybe? Pact of negation, and then they're going to consign their pact trigger. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. We still have the construct line available to us, which is decent. Like if they have Boseiju for Torpor Orb, okay, they're gonna go for it. And they got it. What do they get here? Like it's got to be Grizzlebrand, right? Well, okay. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. Nice, beefy 10/10. Just gonna play the Lantern. Well, that's one card we do want to see, one card we don't want to see. And another Neoform here doesn't really change anything. We're still taking 11 from this dragon. So they have Neoform plus Eldritch Evolution in hand. So I don't know what I'm assuming they got the Allosaurus Rider off of the whatchamacallit, Scheming Symmetry. Disciple gets shut down by Torpor Orb. And because they have Eldritch Evolution, I mean, we're just going to grab Grafdigger's Cage. Where is it there? And then play Ensnaring Bridge and basically have it locked up here. Yeah, they concede. All right, that's game one. And for sideboarding, we're using Sideboard Guide. If you want access to all of these sideboard guides, you can become a member of the channel. It's greatly appreciated and will give you early access to videos and access to all these sideboard guides. I think on the draw, Vexing Bauble does not come in. On the play, I think it does. Um, yeah, so all of these sideboard guides you have access to for only, I believe it's just $5 a month. Um, early access to videos, sideboard guides. If you click join down below, appreciate all the members and all of you that have signed up so far. And they'll be on the play. This is I mean, I would keep this hand probably not against the combo deck. And then I would keep this hand basically never. So unfortunately going down to 5. And then I think we have to keep. And then probably putting these, I mean, we're putting one surgical because there's not much that it hits. And probably Mox Opal. I mean, without a dedicated way of milling them, it's hard to count on surgical hitting. So, obviously surgical is quite good against them. Generous int, that's fine. Yeah, definitely not a great mull to 5. The other thing we can do is just scheming Symmetry and surgical anything just to cause the shuffle. They grab a Hedge Maze. So that's probably their land for next turn. I think that changes things. I think we Inquisition here. See what they're rocking with. If they don't force it. I mean, alternatively, they could Pact of Negation it and then just die in their upkeep. That would work too, obviously. Well, I wonder if they were thinking about the Summoner's Pact. We had the choice between Consign and Nature's Claim. Well, Ashiok would be good into Summoner's Pact. They are actually missing a lot here. So I think we Nature's Claim, and then next turn we're able to scheming for an Urza's Saga, probably. Yeah, we'll take the claim, play the bauble, see what they're drawing. Oh, well, okay. I mean, like sometimes things just work out well where you take the card that they're about to draw, and then surgical is going to take a card in their hand. If you have this draw stop here, they can't do anything before you play it. So their hand right now is this, and then Nature's Claim. And their hand does not do anything for a while. Actually, the one downside, I guess, to scheming here is that when we fire off the surgical on this Nature's Claim, so maybe we actually wait. Let's see what we draw off bubble, and then we might wait to surgical until the next turn and not play an artifact so that we can go get Urza's Saga. It'll depend what we draw. Like if we draw a Codex Shredder, just fire off the surgical. We draw another bauble, which I think means we wait. Like we know there's nothing they can play this turn anyway. Although this does let them hold up Pact of Negation plus Consign to Memory. So we'll let them surveil, see if they keep on top. And they do keep it on top, so I think yeah. And end step we'll just do this while they're yeah, and they don't counter it, which is good to make sure all of these are selected. And then they got Beseju, Atraxa, Galta. They got their couple payoffs, Neoform, Bridgeworks Battle. That's the land. So they have Beseju. So Pithing Needle. Oh, and Into the Floodmaw. So they have Beseju, one copy of Beseju, one copy of Into the Floodmaw are their only answers to Ensnaring Bridge, which is very good to know. And so then their hand is those bottom three there. So given that their hand is that, well, that does save us a bit of the need to, although they will be able to consign the trigger. So we're going to put the needle on Beseju. Very important when you're surgicaling. I mean, one of the big advantages to surgical is that it gives you information on their entire deck. So we know there are two cards that we care about. Beseju and Into the Floodmaw. And they are really tanking. And I think one of the other things with playing Scheming Symmetry is that it kind of forces you into playing Surgical Extraction, which is a card that I haven't played a ton of. So it's will be interesting to see how it performs. Come on, buddy. Like, you're really taking his time here. Like, with Summoner's Pact, like, technically they are one Summoner's Pact plus anything away from, like, just going off. The other thing is, I mean, we are gonna have to get this consign out of his hand at some point because we need to land a bridge. Because I was gonna say, like, at a certain point we can just cast Scheming Symmetry basically with impunity because we know there's one card that we care about once a bridge is resolved. Now, if we can't resolve a bridge, then that's a different issue. Uh, that's pretty good. Well, yeah, maybe that's not great. So if he summoners packs for Allosaurus Rider, he needs Allosaurus Rider plus two green cards, and then Eldritch Evolution. So he's still decently far away, and we kind of need one of these two draws to be a land. That is perfect. And that is also, I mean, that's hopefully going to lock things up with Urza's Saga next turn. And he didn't use the Consign to Memory on the constructs, which I think is a mistake. I don't know what you're, well, like, are you holding Consign to Memory to use Pact of Negation on it? Like, I don't need to cast a spell the rest of the game. He's still on two lands, so he can't even cast the Eldritch Evolution. And then the question is, do we get Grafdigger's Cage or do we get Lantern of Insight? And I think it'll maybe depend a little bit on what we draw. Obviously, we're going to make double construct here. Like, I think if we draw land and we're able to play the Ghoul Colors Bell in the, well, I guess that simplifies things a little bit for us. We're getting Lantern. Or we could get Mox Opal and then play Grafdigger's Cage. I kind of like, oh, maybe we should have got Lantern because I think this gets countered. He's gonna Pact plus consign his Pact trigger. I mean, he could have just consigned the spell directly, but I don't mind getting that out of his hand. The other thing, okay, so he is going to Summoner's Pact. So his hand is Evolution, Consigned to Memory. Oh, he wants to use Consigned to Memory to counter both triggers. So then his hand has to be like green card? But he's going to tap out, so he's not going to have enough mana. He's not going to have enough mana to Eldritch Evolution. He's going to play the Consign to counter both of these two, and then he'll have Allosaurus Rider plus 2 unknowns. So if he, or plus 1 unknown, sorry. So he can't even cast the Rider, and if he casts the Rider, he's getting rid of the evolution to make 2 creatures smaller than the Rider. I don't totally know about this one. Part of me wants to cast Scheming Symmetry just to see what he gets. We're going to hit him for 10 here. And then he has to have Rider, green card, land, and can go evolution. No. Save that. And if he does that, we can play Ensnaring Bridge and then just play that game. So he has the land. I mean, if his last cards are Rider, green card, evolution, he's able to go get something. Yeah, Rider. What did he pitch? Veil of Summer. Well, what's he grabbing? But Atraxa. Yeah, that's pretty good. What are the 10 he looks at? Rider, Pact, Neoform, Genesis, Shoal, Gulta. This is a 7-drop, can get the 8-drop off of Neoform. Has Pact of Negation, but can't use it because he doesn't have Consigned to Memory. So unfortunately, looks like we're maybe transitioning into just a Lantern game, which is going to be much longer than if we just killed him with constructs, because we do not have enough artifacts. Gulta, Neoform, Nourishing Shoal, Rainforest. Exiling Gulta. So you got Neoform, Rainforest as his last 2 cards. So he can turn the Atraxa into something else. We are just going to Slam Bridge. Mishra's Bauble would actually be a great draw here. That, I think Lantern is worth, no, he's got Xenagos, which wouldn't kill us here. I think we can just do this. Because he hits us for 7, but we're fine. That's got the needle. And then Urza's Saga will be able to get us a Codex Shredder. So then we'll be able to use this Scheming Symmetry. I like it. Make him think we're a bit desperate. Unfortunately, the Grafdigger's Cage, kind of an unfortunate time to draw Grafdigger's Cage, because if Grafdigger's Cage is still in the deck, we just go get it with Urza Saga, and then we're fine. Would it be greedy to make more constructs? Yes, right? So we know he has Neoform in hand and can get the bigger flyer. So the answer is yes. It would be very greedy to let him go get the bigger flyer. And we're just going to play Ensnaring Bridge and say Ensnaring Bridge, Ghoul Color Spell is going to lock you out. Yeah, Neoform is equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's mana value, so it cannot get another Atraxa, which is big. Although I guess Grizzlebrand is able to draw like a bunch of cards. But this Saga, like they have Into the Floodmaw is their only answer, and they played the Boseiju as the land, so they're gonna get Grizzlebrand. But if they get Grizzlebrand, yeah, it's definitely going to be dicey. So they use the Neoform. Yeah. So now it's whether or not they draw into the Floodmaw before we can get a Pithing Needle down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Endurance, again, annoying, but not anything that's worth milling here. And they're going to shuffle. We know they have 1 into the Floodmaw, so they have to draw into the Floodmaw plus a way of countering it on the way back down. Well, not even. Although they didn't leave blue mana up here. Not the best situation we've been in. Yeah, that that Grafdigger's Cage draw in hindsight is very unfortunate. They put this onto the battlefield tapped. Eldritch Evolution, Hooting Mandrills, Neoforms, Xenaghosts, Veil of Summer, Disciple of Freyalise there. All of that is fine. And they're at 2 now. They did not draw any way of gaining more life. They did draw Neoform. Okay. I don't know what they get here. Endurance. To shuffle. That's fine. Like, will it make the game a lot slower? Yes. Will it still let us win? Yes. And Goldcaller's Bell has a bit of the inconsistency, I guess, that Pixis has, where if you want to use it on yourself, you kind of risk putting them into something better. Actually, what would be a fantastic draw for us here? Ooh, another Scheming Symmetry on top is actually not terrible because we are going to be able to get a Codex Shredder or a Mishra's Bauble, either or. And um, they don't have the destroy artifact spell that we exiled earlier, the Nature's Claim. So they're gonna pay for their pack trigger. It makes sense why you wouldn't want to just lose the game. But yeah, double Scheming Symmetry, 1 for Torpor Orb, 1 for anything, honestly. And just reminder, we can't lose by decking. We do play Academy Ruins, and Mox Opal can get the blue mana for it. So we can always just sack Codex Shredder or sacrifice the Lantern every turn and put it on top. So that's not a concern right now. And them having an endurance in hand, that's fine. It's just going to take them longer to mill out. Thoughtseize on top is fine, I suppose. Yeah, I think we're getting a Codex Shredder. And then we'll Scheming Symmetry for Torpor Orb, because this Grizzlebrand, I mean, we're just not gonna let them draw Nourishing Shoal. And as long as we don't let them draw Nourishing Shoal, it's not a concern. We should have things pretty wrapped up. A bit longer of a game than it would have been if Grafdigger's Cage was the first thing out, but um, we'll take it. And they do play out the endurance by evoking it. meaning it will shuffle itself back in, but then once it's in the deck, like it's kind of just a one-time thing where it's in there once and then we don't have to worry about it. Like with 3 mill rocks, it's a very, very secure lock. So they got one attracts a trigger. The thing here though is even if they find the into the flood maw, they find consigned to memory, pact of negation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. We'll see what they take. They can only take one of consigned to memory or pact of negation, and I'm okay playing torpor orb, scheming symmetry, or our second torpor orb. They choose Scalding Tarn, Allosaurus Rider, and Pact of Negation. I mean, none of those deal with anything. Guess he's gonna go for it again. He's got 5 cards. We know 2 of them. Pact, I mean, he's got enough lands. He can just pay for them now. Neoform, a lot of neoforming happening. Again, none of his creatures directly kill us. I don't know. Shoot, I don't remember if there's another Atraxa in the list or not. Probably, or I would imagine looking at the list and seeing what the outs are at this point. Yeah, and he can scoops it up. Pretty, I would say fairly dominant win against Neobrand there. It's game 2 would have been way easier, but we got there anyway, and yeah, we'll take it. 1-0. Well, round 2, we got 2/3 of our combo and double bridge. I think it's solid 6. Ooh, we're going against revenge against Matt Black. He was on, I think, because we played against him in the last video, and he was, I want to say he was playing the Eldrazi deck that I think cooked us pretty good, so maybe a bad hand to keep into that. But I guess we'll see. We will go Black Cleave Cliffs and then lead on Codex Shredder. And then in this version, because we are playing Surgical Extraction, we do kind of want to mill our opponent. In a lot of versions, you want to mill yourself um, for Academy Runes. Ooh, Subtlety. Okay, so they are on something different than last time, but we'll see. Polluted Delta. Yeah, the fact that we have all these mill rocks does kind of hard shut down the surveil lands. Obviously, they do not work into mill rocks, and no, we'll just save the life here. And hopefully play with our top a bit with Bobble. And they still like you see the double mill rock on board. I don't know. They might be a graveyard deck. I mean, they could be playing a Frog. And they might be a Thoughtseize decks. This might be a mistake. Another Codex Shredder we're not interested in, so we're actually going to mill both of us here. Consult the star charts. That's looking controlling. Don't love that. Dimir control of some sort. Because consult is really good against us. Obviously, anything at instant speed that draws cards. Scheming Symmetry is great. I think we just play a bridge, and then next turn, if this gets countered, we have the option to Symmetry and bridge. Which I think will be good. Probably looking for Lantern or Thoughtseize. Not exactly sure what their disruption suite is going to be. Field of Ruin. We are playing. No, are we playing two or three swamps? We're playing a solid number of swamps. The downside is Field of Ruin does interact pretty well with scheming symmetry. So we won't be able to just fire off symmetry into an open Field of Ruin. So I think we go Ensnaring Bridge here. Like we can't even. Oh, we gotta play a land. Trying to see if they'll Field of Ruin us first, because then if the Field of Ruin is off the board, then we can play the Scheming Symmetry. But they're not going to. Yeah, I don't really mind if you field us. We have another swamp. I guess one interesting dynamic is this that most lists don't play basic mountain because of Blood Moon. Okay, we're playing three, but we milled one. That's unfortunate. Most lists don't play a basic mountain when they're playing Blood Moon, but then this is a deck that definitely could be playing Harbinger of the Seas. So then you kind of want the basic mountain because Harbinger takes it off that, but against Blood Moon, you don't. Very interesting. We wouldn't mind a surgical here just to see what we care about because this is a deck that potentially does not, I mean, sink into stupor is kind of what I would think of as their main answer to things here. I wonder if they're countering this, or if they're playing a subtlety. Kicked consult star charts. Ooh. Uh yeah, Washi Tong. One Shi Tong. Yeah, I mean that is good with scheming symmetry. So they draw a card. I mean, I think we have to cast it. We can mill in response to the trigger. Let's see. Yeah, I think we just grab a lantern. I think we could grab surgical, but I think they're equally likely to counter a surgical as they are to counter a lantern. We could grab an Urza Saga, and then that will be an uncounterable lantern in a couple turns. I think to start we just grab the lantern. This is not going to go on the stack until they search. And then, like, they know we have Codex Shredder, so you shouldn't get something valuable. But then the mind games come in. We got a mill, obviously. But in paper, I think it's maybe more reasonable to take a shot. And then against a deck like this, we really want to cast Scheming Symmetry when they're tapped out. So casting it when they're untapped and have access to a lot of mana is obviously not great. The other hope is that with two Ensnaring Bridge, it makes it a bit easier to beat Sink into Stupor. So, and I think we hold the Blood Crypt in hand. Let's see what you tutored. Oh. Maybe he just doesn't have an answer to double Ensnaring Bridge. I think that's definitely possible. We saw... Huh. What do we want here? We didn't see a lot. It looks like a control deck. So, Cookbook is a cut. Grafdigger's Cage, we didn't see anything. Like, we didn't see Psychic Frog. So, it's probably just the Dimir Flash list. So, in that case, Cage is coming out. Orb can come in. That's fine. Probably the Surgical comes in. Mostly for one, just the big card draw effects that we don't want to be turned on. But we'll go into game two up a game. I think the one card you could maybe make an argument for is the whatchamacallit? The Magus of the Moon. I am more inclined to bring it in on the play. I think on the draw it doesn't do a lot, especially like if they're playing their Field of Ruins, they can go get their basic before Blood Moon comes down. On the play, I think it becomes more attractive, and also potentially when we see their deck a bit more. And they do mull to 5, which I'll never complain about. We got bridge, symmetry plus surgical is important, and this is the other reason they do seem like they are just running a decent number of basics, which we are too, although that's not where we want to see it. And I think we just rip a needle on Field of Ruin. If they have consign next turn, we can consign them, or we can surgical them after we scheming symmetry. But we're just gonna keep our lands safe here and see what they got. Sideboard answers for Ensnaring Bridge are probably going to be mainly counter spells. It did kind of feel like they let 2 bridges resolve. Oh, wondering what you're holding here. Let's see if we can bait this. We're going to cast the Mishra's Bauble first, and then the Mox Opal. Doing all of this before we play a land, because we kind of want them to waste a counter spell here. Like, this is bait. If it resolves, great. If it doesn't, we move on. Uh, the question is, if we scheming symmetry here, what do we even grab? I think we just go for we play Ensnaring Bridge. Because the other thing is, if we scheming symmetry and they just don't put anything into their graveyard, then Spell Pierce. Yep, that's a counter spell. So now we have something we can shuffle with. And double blue. They're gonna play a grave. Now they got access to their Thoughtseize effects. I don't hate that. Let's see what they do about this. And if they spend 2 mana on counterspell here, I think I'm fine with that. Yes, to play around Spell Pierce, because our life total isn't a huge deal here. We're gonna grab another bridge, and then I think we use Bauble to look at what they drew first, and then see if we need surgical. Let's see. Like maybe you can make the argument we should have got Urza's Saga. I just assume, yeah, maybe Saga actually should have been the play there. Hmm. The thing is, just Resolved Bridge is so good against them. Engineered explosives. Yeah, don't want them to have that. Because that can get rid of our needle. Oh, we don't actually. We should have used the Mox Opal to play the scheming symmetry. And because the Mox Opal is turned off now that we sacked Bubble. They got Force of Negation and 1. So bridge next turn. What can they can use engineered explosives and Otawara. They're not playing huh. They're not playing Sink into Stupor. So Otawara, yeah, Otawara and engineered explosives are their only only cards that they play against bridge, which is good to know. So you have these two in hand. I do wonder if they just pass here. Yeah, they're passing. Well, I mean, obviously they're passing. They can hold up either of these cards. Shredder's great. And then the question is, do we have to play the bridge into one? Or sorry, into Force of Negation? No, I think with the amount of discard spells we have, we didn't side any out, right? I think we just wait for discard. And then keep milling for another surgical effect. They probably flash one in. Codex makes us live to other copies of Scheming Symmetry. Yeah, looking at their, oh, consult the star charts. Yeah, that's, like, I mean, instant speed, I mean, it's anticipate here. But that's still a good card. Yeah, we might as well mill them now. Doesn't really matter the timing. Like the argument to play Ensnaring Bridge is that if we play it and it gets countered, it doesn't let them hold up Wan Shi Tong. So they can't hold the bird up, and then they have to wait another turn to play him. Two unknowns. Okay, they just pass, so I mean that's all action here. This does give us the option of getting back something from the graveyard. Yeah, don't love the position we're in as they're kind of able to just build up advantage. Although they don't flash in the bird, eh? I guess they really want to draw cards off it. We are in a situation here where we can go Torpor Orb into... I mean, they're drawing all gas. But with Codex Shredder, they'll mill out for us. That's something. Well, we can take the Force... We know they have a Force of Negation in hand. So I think we draw step Force. They're going to play it out. Yeah, they're rounded down, right? So they're not going to draw anything off that. So it's just a 2/2 with flying. And the other thing is they probably counter it, but if they use, I mean, we have 4 mana, so they can't spell pierce it. We're going to grab the force that we know about. So if they have double spell pierce, or if they just hard cast this Force of Negation, then they need 2 Force of Negations to have it up on our turn, and then we can just jam bridge. Yeah, like from their perspective, they're kind of incentivized if they don't have another counter spell to just play Force of Negation. If they're other, well, that's unfortunate. It appears they just have everything. So we're going to take all the forces. So they have EE, they have Snapcaster, they have Consult or Consign. Yeah, that's going to be difficult. Nice 9-turn clock. Snapcaster extends the clock. I guess engineered explosives, they can't actually ever get up to 3, I don't think. Which is something. And did we take Grafdigger's Cage out? We did. That is good. Because if they play Snapcaster Consign to Memory, we can jam Bridge. And if they don't, Snapcaster Consign to Memory. Yeah, tap in 2 mana. Yeah, come on, Snapcaster. Yeah, they're gonna Snap Consign. That is, I mean, it does mean they'll have an engineered explosives. We can beat engineered explosives though. You got it. Pretty pretty slow games again in typical Lantern fashion. But hey, I enjoy playing Lantern, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching Lantern. And oh no, you tapped out. That's a shame. That really is too bad. But I guess now on the 20 turn clock, kind of just milling every turn. We know you have Otawara and engineered explosives. I guess we did not look at the mana. Does he actually have a third color of mana in there? Does make a huge difference in this game. So you got EE, Consign. Still a lot of stuff to fight through. Um, yeah, I think we hold it. Make him think it's something. We have the option to either Shredder back an Extraction or Shredder back a Pithing Needle to play on Engineered Explosives, which I don't hate. Black, Bowmaster. Okay, well, little punish for not playing the Mox Opal out. We're going to take 2 damage. It's not the end of the world. Or we're going to take 3 in total. From the 1/1s swinging in, not the end of the world. Urza Saga would be good to get a lantern underneath a counterspell. Academy Ruins would be amazing. That would actually be one of our best draws here. And they did not grab a different color of mana, which makes it appear kind of likely that they only have 2 colors. Uh, yeah, just gonna mill that. Well, baited, I guess. Yeah, Academy Ruins, I mean, being able to put Lantern on top and saying draw a counterspell or don't do anything about it is very powerful. Yeah, if we draw Scheming Symmetry, we're definitely searching for Academy Ruins. Especially with the Pithing Needle on Field of Ruin. Well, speak of the devil. Now, the only question here is, do they have a Consult the Star Charts in hand? Because that could be annoying. The other thing, they might go get a counter spell. Like if they go and get the Otawara, and then we're able to mill the Otawara, uh, Academy Ruins. Well, you're getting the trigger from that, but we have a Codex Shredder untapped. So I guess it is important to note when the bird is on the battlefield, the bauble trick of bauble is kind of turned off. Oh, they got Cling to Dust. Honestly, well done by them. That is going to be pretty good against Academy Ruins. I don't know if it's enough against Academy Ruins. Because every one exiles 5 other cards. 5. Yeah. What are you doing with this? We're tapped out. So they got Consign, EE. Like I think we play Academy Ruins, try to get back Pithing Needle first. Lantern first. Like Cling, they can do once. So it's not the end of the world. They can cling. I mean, cling on Pithing Needle is annoying because we didn't bring any other ones in. they found Odawara. And we take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play bridge, they counter it. Take another 7, we're dead. That's unfortunate. They found the answer. But now that we've seen their deck, it's engineered explosives. Would we surgical early? Engineered explosives and Grafdigger's Cage matters because of Snapcaster. Torpor Orb is also good there. Yeah, Magus is useless. Pithing Needle is good. Maybe we trim on Symmetry, although it was pretty good that game. Maybe we just go one Torpor Orb. And yeah, Odawara, Engineered Explosives are the first two names with Pithing Needle. This hand, yeah, I like this one a lot better. Call me crazy. And I'm sure there will be some people who do. But I'm keeping this like 100 times out of 100. I don't know. We got all three parts of the combo. We got Thoughtseize, and yes, I do refer to Lantern Control as a combo. It is absolutely a combo deck more than a control deck. I think that's one. Honestly, if you get like one message out of the channel, it's treat Lantern like a combo deck. Like treat it as I assemble these three cards and I win the game. It takes longer to win the game than a traditional combo deck, but it's still. And I think we actually jam the Pithing Needle first here because Engineered Explosives is really bad for us. What I think would actually be funny is if he doesn't crack it. If he doesn't crack, that's bait for sure. He's gonna counter it. Oh dang. Oh, what are we doing? Engineered Explosives. And then because you fetched, I'm playing around Consigned to Memory. Spell Pierce obviously still gets the Thoughtseize, but Consigned to Memory doesn't because you fetch Shocked, which he did have in hand. What do we do here? Yeah, Snapcaster's good, obviously. Fatal Push is basically useless. We're not taking Cling. It's one of the two counter spells, and I think we take the one that's cheaper. Because he can't hold up. He can't hold up Snapcaster plus a counter spell next turn. Definitely wouldn't mind drawing an Urza's Saga. Or like Grafdigger's Cage. We kind of. Lantern of Insight. Eat a counter spell. Like you have to counter this, right? Maybe you let it go because you think it's bait. I guess, yeah, we always have the advantage of being able to see our own hand. You got it. And then Needle on Odawara. He's got no threats. Well, he's got Snapcaster Mage, but Odawara, Soaring City. And then probably not milling super aggressively because the cards we would want to take with anything we would want to take with Surgical Extraction is already there. Field of Ruin, I don't have a problem with here. This is draw for turn. Question is, do we play out the Ensnaring Bridge knowing that it's going to get Snapcaster Consigned to Memory? I think no. I think we just hold it. We have a lot of relevant draws that I think can bait that anyway. And we're not under any pressure here. If we didn't have to sacrifice a Mox Opal to do it, like maybe. He probably cycles a Cling to Dust here. So we know three of the cards. Yeah, definitely a hard matchup to resolve a bridge in because of how many flash threats they have. Yeah, cycling Cling to Dust. Is that the island we knew about? Yeah. And we got nothing here. Well, Flooded Strand go. And them passing is going to be most of the game here. I kind of want to wait until we draw another land to Thoughtseize. Like another land or another Mox Opal. I do like drawing Thoughtseize, but if we play it here, kind of likely they have multiple counter spells in hand. So they're going to crack the Flooded Strand. And clock, we're doing great. We're up like 6 minutes on our opponent here. Um, they got the island. Ooh. That's not. Kicked consult the star charts. I did start saying that before it popped up on screen. Just throwing that out there for everyone's benefit. Drawing a Grafdigger's Cage would be cool. That would be bait for Snapcaster for sure. The problem is he is just going to draw threats eventually, and we are struggling with land drops. So I would say it's pretty likely he now has multiple counter spells in hand, but it is not impossible that he doesn't. Probably should have played the, well, then he knows that was our draw for turn. If we get got by Spell Pierce here. I think if he Snapcaster, oh, he just cast Counterspell. That's that's not good because he still has a Snapcaster in hand, and he can Snapcaster Consign, which is sitting in his graveyard. And the problem with that is if we let him just cast Snapcaster Consign, we're then giving him a clock, whereas right now he doesn't have a clock. And we're playing a Surveil land for pretty much exactly this situation. Gonna let us search. Up to 7 minutes ahead on the clock. What do you have for this? He's playing a wand. I mean, now if we see Thoughtseize on top, I think we're pretty happy. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't draw any cards. So let's see what we see on top. The other option we have is Surgical. Surgical or well, yeah, we'll keep on top. Um, we gotta take Consign because Snapcaster Counterspell does not beat us. So we're gonna do that. We got the Pithing Needle on the two cards that beat a resolved bridge. It's just about resolving bridge here. And actually, we're not even sure if Engineered Explosives does beat a resolved bridge, but it can remove a Pithing Needle, which can remove an Otawara. What's he thinking about here? Because Consign doesn't hit Surgical Extraction. If he casts, I think we're basically priced into jamming this Ensnaring Bridge, even if he casts a counterspell. So he leaves the counterspell in hand, which Yeah, again, yeah, he just has so much counter magic. Like we kind of, because he got, sorry, one, two, three, four, five. Like that's a pretty great hand against us. Like, what do we, I guess, what do we gain by playing bridge? If we draw another bridge, we're more live to those top decks. So we play it out here, but then if we draw, just talking through things out loud here. If we play the ensnaring bridge, it makes us better against additional bridges drawn because we still have to get through two things from his hand. If we don't play the bridge, it makes us better against hand disruption, and we have more hand disruption left than ensnaring bridges, so we're going to leave it in our hand. The other thing is Urza Saga is still really good here. Like I mean, we have to surgical the consign because like counterspell equally likely that either's in his hand, and he runs out the Snapcaster, which means his clock is sped up by a turn. Okay, see, why would you give the Cling to Dust in your graveyard flashback? Okay, whatever. But now, if we draw another Ensnaring Bridge, or if we draw one Hand Disruption, we can take the counter spell, play the Ensnaring Bridge, and we didn't do a good job of looking at his library. Yeah, like now your Cling to Dust is gone. So we are on a 3-turn clock. So we need one of our next two draws to be Hand Disruption or so he shocks that in. Hand Disruption or another Ensnaring Bridge. And we probably have to play the Ensnaring Bridge out this turn anyway. Hmm. I mean, very tight game. That buys us an extra turn, but Cookbook is in the sideboard, so it doesn't totally matter. So we jam Bridge here, he casts Counterspell. He hits us for 5, we untap, make a construct. That buys us one more turn of drawing something relevant. Which we have more hand disruption than we do ensnaring bridge. But I guess for mana efficiency, we play the bridge. So then we gotta find another one or scheming symmetry. He's gonna counter this one. That's fine. I mean, we gotta. We're gonna have to get a good. Oh, he's got fatal push. So we have one turn here anyway. Given that we only have one turn, it was maybe correct to hold the bridge. And it's possible that we play like a 35-minute game just to lose on me punting. Um, yeah, that doesn't do it. I think we play it because maybe he forgets about Fatal Push. Probably not. Dang, it's looking good after game one, but yep, gonna exile that. So Academy Ruins doesn't help us. And yeah, we have nothing we're playing for here. I guess this is the second time in the last two videos that we once again lose to a pink color. We will have our revenge on you, Matt Black. Do this. Kills it with Fatal Push. We cry. Yada yada yada. He kills it with Fatal Push. Yeah, we did. Kills it with Fatal Push. GG's. Hopefully the next three are a bit shorter. I will say this league we've done a decent job of finding ourselves on the play, and I'm once again going to keep a hand like this. I've kept a number of hands pretty similar to this. Jeweled Lotus, eh? Um, yeah, we're just gonna run out the Opal Shredder. Yes, Opal would love it if one of these two cards was a Mishra's Bauble, which would let us either play the Lantern or the Inquisition the next turn, but uh, Thoughtseize, Young Wolf, I mean, you see a Golgari land, you kind of know what's up. Oh, Brood Scout combo. Okay, not exactly Yawgmoth, which was what I initially thought. All right, turn too late, Mishra's Bauble. I know it heard. Heard what I said. Gilded Goose is good against us because it can attack and they can pump it. All right, Sam, Dredger's Insight, mill 4, and they get something back. So that's obviously good. Sam's obviously good. Brood Scale is obviously good. I think we take the Insight and then find a way to deal with Sam. Because it can get back all their artifacts. We're not taking the Ballista because they want it in the graveyard anyway. Yeah. We'll roll with that. And they're playing Urza Saga of their own. Looking for a Surgical Extraction or Ghoul-Caller's Bell. Or not Ghoul-Caller's Bell, Grafdigger's Cage. They do fetch away the Saga, which is perfect for us. They're going to play the Sam. So, Pithing Needle. We wouldn't mind finding. Half considered they might just play Walking Ballista. Obviously, Agatha's Soul Cauldron, a big card that we're worried about here, which they have on top. I don't want Cookbook, I don't think. And we are going to mill them. Probably going to mill ourselves with Codex Shredder, then draw our card off Bauble, then go to our turn. Yeah, here we're going to mill ourselves, then play the Ghoul-Caller's Bell, mill the Soul Cauldron. That is actually big. And this is big too. So now we got an issue that we don't want to mill this. Well, we got to mill it. Not really a choice with that one. And I think we take the artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. Take the Brood Scale. Good and bad, I suppose, that we're getting rid of the Pithing Needle. Sam can't. Oh, that's another combo piece. But they don't have the combo. Can they have 3 creatures enter this turn? Yes. Yeah, they can definitely make 3 food. Huh. I mean, Sam's is really good against us. Maybe we should just left the Pithing Needle on top. So they have Leo in hand. So they have 3 food, which can get back the Soul Cauldron. Soul Cauldron on Walking Ballista on Leo kills us. Which they can do. I'm kind of surprised they didn't play the Leo. Which they can do as soon as next turn. So we need an answer. That's not an answer. We also need an ensnaring bridge. Really a lot that we're looking for here. And I don't think it matters. They do just have the combo here. So I think I just concede. So if you're unfamiliar with the Leo combo, you're going to get back the Soul Cauldron, which will exile Walking Ballista's ability. Then if they put a counter on Leonardo, they can remove a counter from Leonardo to ping us for 1 damage, but because it has lifelink, they will gain a life, and then when they gain a life, it gets a counter. So we're dead here. They know what they're doing, and definitely an interesting take. Leo combo is decently popular, as most spike lists are. And surgical extraction does disrupt it quite well. Ashiok is there is a bit of a tension with Ashiok in the sideboard in terms of exiling their graveyard when we have surgical extraction. I don't actually think Torpor Orb does a lot against them. Like, yes, it would shut down Sam there, but I would rather have Pithing Needle to do that. Cookbook we don't want, and Grafdigger's Cage, they don't put stuff directly onto the battlefield from their graveyard. So it's Sam gets things back to hand, Agatha's Soul Cauldron exiles and gives the ability, so it's not super useful. I think Scheming Symmetry gets a lot worse when they can just mill cards that are relevant, where they can use their graveyard a lot. So if we have like a Codex Shredder that is our way of interacting with them, yeah, we can keep this. They mulled a 6. I mean, we're just gonna hard attack their hand and then play Urza Saga and hope that that can be a winning formula. I think as you're watching the games, I think there's a pretty natural tendency to compare, like, oh, if I drew Profane Tutor instead of Scheming Symmetry in this situation, would that be a big deal? Well, I mean, we're just gonna Thoughtseize that next turn. So they play Gilded Goose this turn. We have Sam and Birthing Ritual. Sam on his own is not a huge problem. Birthing Ritual is a much bigger problem. And obviously Force of Vigor is the biggest problem of them all. So we'll be Thoughtseizing that next turn. But back to what I was saying, I think there's a pretty natural tendency to say in situations where I draw Scheming Symmetry, if I drew Profane Tutor instead, would that be a better card here? And I think that's kind of a bad way of looking at it because the deck is different enough. Is the combination of Surgical Extraction plus that's good card to draw. Is the combination of Surgical Extraction with Scheming Symmetry worth it? Well, that's the combo, but we're taking Force of Vigor here. So they have those 3 cards in hand, and then play an Urza Saga. And then the question is, do we want to Surgical the Birthing Ritual or the Force of Vigor? And I kind of don't want to Surgical either. We're playing Sam. Yeah. I guess Dryad Arbor does trigger the Sam. I think if Sam goes to get something back, then we... I think we're still on the make constructs plan. And if he puts something important into the graveyard, Blade of the Blood Chief, okay, 2 unknowns. Equips it on Sam, put 1 unknown. Yeah, we're gonna take it. And yeah, we're gonna stick to our initial make construct plans. Pithing Needle. That's probably the play here. On Sam, I think. Well, maybe on Boseiju. Or we could nail the Marsh Flats. But I think that's not a great process. We could kneel do the blade so they never have access to the combo, or we just do Soul Cauldron. I think that's fine. And then I'm gonna do Spire. Yeah, we'll see what their last card is. Funny part was, even if it's Force of Vigor. Okay. I've, I must say, I have done a pretty good job of calling out cards that our opponents have slash draw slash play in this league. Um, I was in the process of saying, even if it's Force of Vigor, we can Surgical here because they don't have the resources to cast it. Um, how unlucky that it is Force of Vigor. So you got Dredger's Insight. Whoa, what is this dude? That is a, yeah, okay. That's Yawgmoth with alternate art. Beseiju. Yeah, the issue with this deck is they have a lot of different ways of killing us that require very different interaction points. So it's hard to, like, this takes out the Soul Cauldron lines, but then they have Blade, Brood Scale, they have like they have a number of other lines that come up. Um, gonna chump with the Gilded Goose. Yo, we're just going to town with the constructs now. Probably too early for him to chump with the goose. Do you have something you can fetch in blocks? Like, doesn't have enough planes for idyllic range, just getting a Surveil land. And dumps his Overgrown Tomb. Might make him a bit harder to get double black if he draws a Yawgmoth, draws a Windswept Heath for turn. That's excellent. So now making a food. What does this get back? Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. Graveyards, they can get back Yavimaya. Or is going to equip the blade somewhere else. Just going to make a food token. Okay, fine with that. That's good. Both because it makes the constructs bigger and because it makes a Scheming Symmetry more of a live draw. Because we are definitely are crashing in for a lot. The other issue is that they are a combo deck, so it could just not matter. But they have to play Brood Scale, equip Brood Scale, adapt Brood Scale, which takes 6 mana, and they have 4. So it would be 2 turns, so we would maybe be able to find something. Like you might say, oh, why'd you play the Pithing Needle on the Soul Cauldron when they already had one half of the Brood Scale combo? And the answer to that is Agatha's Soul Cauldron is basically combo with anything. Woo! I mean, we take 3 from this for him to get back a land. I'm fine with that. And all our lands are forests now. So he can hit us for 5. So we go down to 7. Are we in blocking mode? This creature, another creature or artifact dies. Oh, with Thoughtseize is not a good draw here. So if we swing for 8, he can block with the Gilded Goose and go down to 7. We'll take 1, go down to 6, and he can hit us to 5, which is not dead. And he does not have enough food to sacrifice. If he takes it, he goes down to 3, swings back for 5, which puts us at 2, and then the next turn we swing for 8. Let's see how he blocks. Because we do have the Ensnaring Bridge as just to get out of jail free card. However, okay, so he goes down to 3. So either of our constructs are lethal, which means he has to leave 2 creatures back. If he swings with Sam next turn, we go down to 4. Then he doubles blocks with these. He chumps with both of these. We go down to 2. And then if we go down to 2, we're forced to play bridge next turn at 2 life. Think it's time to play Ensnaring Bridge and chill at 7. Although we might have an issue with this Voidborn. Let's see what we find. Grab our theater. I'm definitely not loving the position we're in. I think this deck has a lot of cards that naturally line up very well against Lantern. We also maybe should have brought in our Molten Collapses. That might have been a miss. That's... Oh, we should have held that. Definitely should be holding lands here. Because he can make a food every turn. Are we actually going to have to put a Pithing Needle and freaking Gilded Goose? Maybe it was correct to go down to 2 and get the Voidborn off the board. Yeah. I should turn off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think getting Urza's Saga back, and I mean, he can just deal us 1 for the next. Yeah, maybe. Not played this game perfectly. Still don't love the matchup, but definitely didn't play it perfectly. And Birthing Ritual, and yeah, I think from here he's just got so much. Like there's so many things that kill us here, or that are very strong against us, which is, yeah, kind of just what makes this a pretty tough matchup for Lantern. He goes and gets a Ballista into the graveyard, which deals 2 damage to us. And then the next turn, yeah, this just kills us. So maybe it's correct to attack first, force the chump block from this, and then play bridge. So it might be a bit of a punt there. I still don't think we're in a good shape hiding behind Ensnaring Bridge with no Lantern. We still wouldn't have drawn Lantern. And he would have had Birthing Ritual going. So at the end of the day, still don't think we're in a good position at all, but we might have been able to survive a few turns longer. Yeah, not loving this. We'll keep our streak going of being on the play with basically every like singleton card. So I guess we'll just say that one of them is probably important. And yeah, we'll keep 7. I think we lead on Inquisition, and then next turn either Cage Needle or Orb. And then we're probably not playing Symmetry until turn 4, when we have a Codex Shredder available to us. But that's fine. I mean, similar to... Ooh. Pithing Needle can deal with engineered explosives. So I think we get rid of the Emissary to get rid of the fast zero drop start. And then Grafdigger's Cage is going to be very relevant against Emery. So next turn we go. They just dump all their zeros anyway. EE on 0. Oh, I guess yeah, they had Thoughtcast available to them. That also helps. So Needle on engineered explosives. And we're going to Grafdigger's Cage, because if we draw land, we definitely hold it up to make constructs. And so better to have Grafdigger's Cage for a couple turns when they have things like Emery that they can draw. Although this is a Kappa Cannoneer, which, yeah, there's that. That is not the most useful right now. I think we got a Torpor Orb to keep it small. And let's see what they're drawing. Because this will stop. Ooh, Urza Saga. I mean, Grafdigger's Cage shuts down Haywire Might. Urza Saga does not make the Kappa any bigger this turn. So we will be able to Symmetry. The issue is if we Symmetry, we don't get our third land draw. So we kind of have to draw like lands off these baubles. Like we kind of have to peel land here. But this works because we can get a Codex Shredder. I mean, we have the other Pithing Needle, so we're going to play the other Pithing Needle on Claws of the Gix. Like we have to go land. So in the next two turns, we need to draw land and Ensnaring Bridge. So we'll crack this for the Surveil land. Surveil into Opal, can stay on top because that's a land. And then we Scheming Symmetry next turn because this will hit us for 5. Yeah, I think that's good. Because we'll draw the Mox Opal. That's our third mana source. Although, can this construct kill us? Yeah, we might be dead. We're actually dead to the construct anyway. Yeah, we just don't have third land. And it doesn't matter. Even if we Symmetried, we didn't have a third land. Yeah, we're dead. I don't think we show them Symmetry. Because there's nothing we can draw here. We play the Opal and we have the mana, but we Symmetry and they just make a construct. So we're dead here. But unfortunate. We're gonna bring in the Pyroclasms to hopefully clean up a lot of the 1/1s. Bring in the Needle. We're on the play, so we're gonna bring in Vexing Bauble. Cutting, Surgical, not great in this matchup. They're not very reliant on specific cards. Grafdigger's Cage stays in because of Emery. Underworld's Cookbook stays in so that we can get our hand empty for Bridge because there are situations where it comes up. I think maybe we only bring in 2 Pyroclasms and cut Symmetry and play it like that. Torpor Orb, actually, we don't really care about late game. Like, it's kind of useful, but not great. And then, unlike previous rounds, probably, yeah, bringing in Molten Collapse and running it like that. Yeah, we can keep that. Cliff's Thoughtseize. Hopefully put them on a Pinnacle Emissary hand, then we can turn to Pyroclasm and then be doing Urza Saga things. And we do have three lands, so if we draw the bridge, it's still a live card. We are going to deal... Oh, Blackleaf Cliffs. Thought that was a Blood Crypt for a second. Thoughtsy is Welding Jar, Weapons, Engineered Explosives. I think we take the EE, and this hand is, well, a decent chunk slower without it. Or not E, yeah, EE. I know my card acronyms. Honestly, we wouldn't mind if they drew a Pinnacle Emissary here. Like if that was their draw for turn, and they just spewed, and then we could untap and Pyroclasm. No, they didn't. Mox Opal is maybe relevant here. And them drawing another Engineered Explosives is pretty annoying. Okay, them drawing a third Engineered Explosives is also very annoying. Yep. So, I mean, I know what our first Urza Saga is getting. Yeah, you got it. You're gonna make your weapons manufacturing, and then you're gonna make yourself some tutus. And Engineered Explosives is also good against me. I get it. Oh, you're gonna draw two cards. How nice. Yep, make your munitions. Now, I wonder if Thoughtcast is in the cards? Oh, who knew? Skateboard. That's fine, honestly. We'll say they don't have another land, which is somewhat relevant. And we are going to make some pretty big... Okay, they're seeing Pyroclasm, which would prefer, obviously, if they did see. We got to get this lantern down. Just to increase the artifact count. Engineered Explosives did come in with 0 counters on it. You can draw a bubble. Gives them 2 damage. Krang. Like, the unfortunate part is that there's not a lot we can do about Krang. Especially with the Mishra's Bauble here, like they can just crack Bauble to draw Krang. They have Kappa. They have Kappa as their last unknown. Well, our hand just got way worse. Way, way worse. And I don't actually know how we win here. How do we beat this? Can we race them? Krang's gonna be huge. Kappa's gonna be unblockable. I don't love the idea. I mean, that is fine. Because we're getting the, like, now we just have to get the needle on Engineered Explosives. The issue, though, is we're dead in not enough, like, we don't have enough turns. Like, I think even, yeah, this is just gonna be a quick one. Like, we're gonna have one turn to spin into bridge, I think. If we swing for 6, we can't even swing for 6 this turn because of Kappa. They play Krang next turn. We don't have lethal. They actually almost have lethal. It's Krang have flying. Does not have flying somehow. Yeah, how do we beat a Krang? Like, we need a snaring bridge and need it right now. I miss War of Invention. Every time I play non-War of Inventions, I'm like, dang, I just wish I had a War of Invention. Yeah, and then they draw 4. All this stuff happens. I mean, watch we see a metallic rebuke right here. No, but still, I mean, another Kappa Cannoneer. Yeah, they're smacking us for 10. Well, our bad that their one unknown was Kappa Cannoneer. Because, holy cow, we're getting rolled. Uh, you got it, buddy. We're just gonna skip through here. We're living on a prayer. We are not halfway there. I would say we are significantly less than halfway there. And maybe I should just stick to more. Eh, like I guess Nightlight is even a mainstream version. Like, I mean, like this isn't a game where. Wow, that sure got close to almost killing us. We got a draw. Well, shuffle and draw two, and we gotta hope that one of them's an ensnaring bridge. One of them was an ensnaring bridge. Well, peeking at our top card, probably should have done that before we drew the ensnaring bridge. From here, we're actually in a not horrible position because we can play Lantern next turn, and we know they don't have anything relevant. Basically, it's like Claws of Gix, Emery, Urza Saga. That's what kills us here. Claws of Gix because they only have to sacrifice 2 munitions. They play Island. That was they played. Yeah. Weapons manufacturing. That's fine. And then you have 1 card left in hand. We are not going to pay for that. And we're going to play Lantern. And, well, that's a card we can't let them have because it can get Claws of Gix. Oh, you impatient soul. Krang. I think we. I don't think it's worth sacking Lantern here. I think they have. Like, if we sacrifice Lantern, we're just in the same thing again. I'd rather take the chance that one. Okay, it's 3 unknown draws. But I think if we lose our Lantern, we have 3 unknown draws anyway, and we only have 1 Lantern left in the deck. We didn't side one out. Thundering Falls. Oh, because he had cards in hand too. Oh, that's fine. Only draws 2. Auto yields to these. Auto yield to that. I mean, yeah, you got big Kappa Cannoneers, but too late. Second ensnaring bridge doesn't do a ton for us. This is going to be a yield to end step a lot of the time. We are still alive. Probably got to consider clock a bit more if we're forcing a game 3. Yeah, we draw here. Importantly, yeah, don't want to use our Codex Shredder because then it would be tapped. You always want to wait till their end step to use Codex Shredder. Because if you wait until their end step, if they have something good, you can build them. Whereas if we had used it there, we would have then been tapped out. And then if any of these next couple cards are good, we would be in a problem. Pinnacle Emissary is fine. And Shivan Reef is also fine. So now here on their end step, we're going to mill ourselves. And we are probably going to get this Pyroclasm out of our hands soon. But yeah, there's not really. yeah, there's not a ton that matters at this point. They kind of have to stack three relevant draws in a row because we'll always be able to disrupt two relevant draws. And they're going to have a ton of triggers, which you'll notice is going to very quickly, this clock gap that we have is going to be like gone very quickly. And we find a second Codex Shredder. They're empty-handed with nothing. Molten Collapse can hit, honestly, whatever we want it to hit at this point, and should have be going to game 3 pretty comfortably. And then we'll just mill this Claws of Gix, as they almost got worried that I turned auto yields on at the wrong time, and they were somehow going to do something. But they don't have any instant speed draw. They're going to make absolutely monstrous creatures. But that doesn't matter, because we're going to mill the Claws of Gix. And the sink into Stupor. The thing is, to win from here, they have to have 5 relevant cards in a row, which I will take those odds. Destroy their welding jar. Black, red. So yeah, from here we have it against Affinity. This is pretty locked up. Well, they scooped it up here. Definitely didn't do a great job of managing the clock, as we are down to only just over 2 minutes. I will also say, had fully given up on that game mentally, so in a good place. We did see Pithing Needle as kind of something they can get with Urza Saga that we really care about. So obviously Molten Collapse has to stay in. Vexing Bauble, less good on the draw, but overall still worth it. And we're going to run it back. And hope that we get the same luck drawing Ensnaring Bridge. And Ensnaring Bridge plus the at least 2 needles that we need for Claws of Gix and... Oh man. See, a hand like this, I do really want to keep. The problem is there's a decent chance they just spew their entire hand and it's too late. And so I like this hand a lot better for that reason. Still the chance they spew their hand, we're just better able to deal with it having Ensnaring Bridge. Although it does appear they're not a immediate hand spew opener from them. Are you going to take the weapons manufacturing? And Urza Saga does mean we're going to have to find a Molten Collapse, but hopefully we can do that. They are also a little far off of Thoughts Cast. We would like a third land here, although I think another Thoughtseize is fine. Thoughtseize you. So they have the third land, but we're going to take the Kappa, leaving them with Thoughtcast, Tormod's Crypt, Mox Opal. So we shall see. We cut all our surgical extractions. 1, 2, 3. There's one in the deck still. Ooh, they draw weapons manufacturing. That's pretty good. Importantly, they aren't able to get constructs here. So we either draw land and then we make constructs, or we EE on 0. That, I mean, is very good. Yeah, so we're on the make constructs plan, which unfortunately might not be amazing here, because their construct is going to be way bigger. Yeah, their construct definitely going to be way bigger than ours. which makes sense as it probably should be. And they have the double that we care about here. Cookbook, kind of useless right now, honestly. We're going to get Pething Needle on Engineered Explosives because that kills us way faster. And then I think we go Inquisition here. And then we don't care about Ravager when we have... Oh, Ravager is another sack outlet. Never mind. Yes, we do. And then we gotta find another... Nope, not attacking. Oh, gotta find another land, too. I mean, I think it's a very difficult spot. Oh, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10. And 10. We're dead. GG. Yeah, well, game 3 of that match was very quick. We, yeah, just didn't find enough pithing needles. Like if we don't play the hand disruption, we play the bridge. They have 10 damage of munition tokens off this Arcbound Ravager. So we're at 6, and then we have to find 2 needles for the other 2 before they find like 3 artifacts. Don't think that's super likely. Tough one. 5th and final round, and about time we started the draw, but I think this is a pretty good hand here. Obviously, like having Lantern plus Shredder. And I will say, yeah, definitely feeling less. Any version I play without Whir feels less consistent at getting Ensnaring Bridge than versions with Whir, which I think is a conclusion that I've seen from a number of lists, whether it's this Nightlight Profane Tutor playing United Battlefront, anything like that. So as I get into more serious testing for the RCQ season, it's probably going to heavily focus on the War of Invention lists. All right, we're off here. Our opponent kept a 6-card opener. Flawless from 2004. Ooh. And we see a Sink into Stupor on the back side. So either like a just... well, yeah, that's not a good hand into Affinity. Yeah, that's Box Opal. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Emery. Wow. For Bobble. And we don't have Ensnaring Bridge. This might be a rough one, folks. Like, we got 1 card in hand. And you're gonna go with Shredder, but we don't have Bridge. Like, there's no shot here. Bridge is, in this matchup specifically, Bridge is way too essential. And the lesson we're learning is we maybe should only be keeping hands that have access to Ensnaring Bridge. Because I definitely think, yeah, our hands this game that have had Bridge have been way better. Every hand, every version of Lantern, you have Bridge, you're better. And I don't think that's a very hot take at all. You got Weapons, Claws, and Emissary on Warp. Crypt is your last card. Maybe should have led on Urza's Saga. And you're drawing 2 cards a turn because you have Emery Bauble loops going. You 2 cards a turn. Also start just doming me for 2 damage. And I've drawn 3 Lantern of Insights for some reason because that's why. And the Thoughtseize, that's useless. I mean, they don't have a ton of pressure if we can find a bridge. That just becomes the question, though. Because our Needle can, our Urza Saga can hit Claws of Gix. Still think there's a decent chance we're too slow. Although we can make a decent side. Oh, they got an Urza Saga of their own. Although we will mill their Pithing Needle. I don't. Affinity doesn't typically play two Pithing Needles main deck. So that is something. Yeah, you got it. And then the Pinnacle Emissary on Warp, maybe? Yeah. And then Emery's gonna get the Bauble back, which is gonna make a 1/1, which means our second Urza Saga is gonna have to get Underworld Cookbook. Emery can just get Pithing Needle. Yeah, Emery can just get Pithing Needle back. Um, so like there's not even that much point in milling it. Unless I'm finding surgical extraction. But I don't want to keep a surgical on top here. They got 1, 2. They're going to have 6 damage and munitions. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's no, we're just dead. We're just dead. There's too much going on. They're too fast. What were we bringing? Pithing Needle, Vexing Bauble, Pyroclasm. And then I think yeah, all that stays in. Cutting 2 surgicals into scheming. Run it like that, and yeah, might just be getting rolled by Affinity again. I do feel like Affinity is pretty common in these leagues. Burned a solid minute of our clock. Yeah, keeping this all day and twice on Sundays. Whether or not it'll be enough against Affinity, I don't know. But it has an ensnaring bridge. Has a Mox Opal as a mana source. Yeah, very solid hand overall. And we're going to take the Crypt. Yeah, interesting. Game 1, you basically can always take Swamp. Um, so this is one of the hands of all time. I think Needle. Oh, I forgot to bring in Molten Collapse. Moving too quickly. We're gonna cast that so it's out of hand. Yeah, that's kind of a mistake. Not playing, not bringing in Molten Collapse, but we take the Pithing Needle again. There's probably only one. Maybe there's two, but I think it's at this stage of the league, it's fair to play as though there's only one. And this can go Steam Vents into EE, and no, just holding up Consigned to Memory. Counter this. Counter this. And then we're getting Urza Saga for Engineered Explosives because you can play it on one. Yeah, you got it. No more Consigned to Memory. But we'll see what they got here. Probably means Skateboard, EE on 0. Ooh, Urza Saga of their own. That's not great. And Emery is 1 in a blue right now. 1 in a red, weapons manufacturing. EE on 0, so we gotta needle that. And they're gonna play the skateboard. So we need Snaring Bridge down. That's fine, we have the bridge in hand. They do only have one card, and then one Pithing Needle has been milled. So then it's maybe Haywire Might they could get. And Bloodstained Mire is actually great here because that allows us to cast Lantern of Insight and play Ensnaring Bridge. Scheming Symmetry, unfortunately we do have to shuffle here. Would have loved to leave that on top. And we're going to play Bridge, see if it's enough. Bridge plus Engineered Explosives. With the Thoughtseize in hand for an unknown card that we probably don't care about, so we likely end up milling ourselves in their end step. Obviously looking for just more mill rocks. Spire Bluff and Mishra's Bauble is their last card. Which, so it's what do they get off Saga, and then we might have it. Obviously, of course, depends on what Urza's Saga can get. It's a Mishra's Bauble, that's your last card, yeah, I knew that. It might actually be an okay shape here. If, yeah, I mean, we have no cards in hand, that's always good. Don't want a Thoughtseize here because they also have no cards in hand. And then up pretty significantly on time. I do really hope that the Pithing Needle actually matters. Well, oh, they can get Claws of Gex. Uh, well, now they can't get. Well, now Arcbound Ravager. We do this just to have a blocker if like something gets through for some reason. Arcbound obviously has to be milled. Our first needle goes on Engineered Explosives because it also blows up our Mox Opal. And then, yeah, I think we use the Symmetry here. We can mill them because we're going to get another Pithing Needle. It also has the effect of shuffling away the Ravager that we care about. And we'll grab Needle. Pyroclasm on top, or Pyroclasm will be the second card down, I think is what that means. I believe, yes, I believe this is showing that Pyroclasm will be the card under, and I don't actually know if we're supposed to see that or not. If any judges are in the comments, let me know whether or not we should be able to see the card on top when we cast Scheming Symmetry with Lantern of Insight. And now it's time to see what they get with Saga. They're gonna make a dude, so I guess it's Haywire Might. That's a problem if they get that. Haywire Might we snap concede to. And they might have it, but it doesn't make sense to get Pithing Needle to play around Haywire Might when they have Engineered Explosives and Claws of Gix already telegraphed. So if they have Haywire Might, they have it. But if not, we play on. That Pithing Needle being milled might end up being super lucky. Yeah, this league has been all over the place. Got a win back against Neo Brand, which was nice, and then it's just been downhill since. I don't think Scheming Symmetry has been bad necessarily. Like it's a I think it might be more of a meta call of the deck. So if you're going into a meta that you know is likely to be highly dominated by combo decks, yeah, I got Closet Gix, which is fine. If that's the best thing Saga can get, we can let him draw a second one. Right? Like if he had something better to get with Saga, he would have gotten it with the first Urza Saga because he didn't know there was one on top when he chose what to get. So I think at this point in the game, letting him draw Urza Saga is fine. The reason in the previous game we didn't let our opponent draw Urza Saga was because there were still cards in the deck that were relevant. Whereas in this game, yeah, so it is Pyroclasm on top, so we were able to see that. There was no opportunity to respond when it was on top, and um, the other one was underneath. But yeah, I think we're in pretty decent shape here. They now are at the point where they need two relevant cards in a row, and Urza Saga doesn't count. I guess technically they need three relevant cards in a row, or two relevant cards in a row for two turns. Something like Emery is very relevant, mostly because of the Pithing Needle in the graveyard. So still, although we are drawing a Pyroclasm, which answers Emery, but still don't want to risk it. Well, that is maybe worse. And Kodak Shredder on top is awesome. Consigned to Memory is not, but just gonna slog through it. We gotta just run something out into it. And yeah, obviously Arcbound Ravager being a third sacrifice outlet for all the weapons manufacturing tokens is like kind of annoying. Um, Definitely when they only have two, it is kind of much more feasible, I would say. Ooh, kind of just doing this to get it out of my hand. And then I'll go Thoughtseize Correct Shredder next turn. And see what this Urza Saga gets. I don't know what all they have at this point. Maybe a Mishra's Bauble. And of course, very dead if we don't draw anything relevant. But yeah, I think this is probably a combo heavy meta. It's going to do much better against than a lot of the fair decks, and I think it lives and dies on Surgical. Yeah, he got a Mishra's Bauble. Um, I do think I don't think Scheming Symmetry was bad. I think yeah, I think I'm interested. I think yeah, it really depends on how strong in the meta surgical extraction is. And currently, like I haven't been playing it in a lot of other versions. I don't think it's amazingly positioned. As we saw against the combo deck, we did really well. Against the non-combo decks, we struggled a bit. Um, I'll seize you. Take the consign to memory. Play a second shredder, and we should pretty much have things from here. Alrighty, they scooped it down there, or scooped it up there, and we take round two. We're gonna bring back in the Molten Collapse, which we forgot to take out. I think Pyroclasm can be very helpful on the draw, and then on the draw, I'm gonna trim it. Inquisition, and to be honest, slightly forgetting what we did last game. Some matchups are in the sideboard guide already. Some I just put in based on what I take in and out while playing. So if you want those sideboard guides, join button on the channel. If you want to just watch me make sideboard decisions, that's also cool. And if you want to help a like or drop a like, that also helps the channel. I think we can cut the last surgical. It is not a good matchup for surgical, which probably makes scheming symmetry worse, not having any of them. But let's see what we're working with here. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is why we're playing scheming symmetry. Would kind of like a land as our first draw. But we have the Shredder, we have the Symmetry, we have Thoughtseize, Pyroclasm. Symmetry will it be too slow? Possibly. Is it slower than as equally as slow as all the other tutors? Yes. So that's fine. Wonder what card they're holding up there. Could you be holding up a consigned to memory? What are we gonna give it? 98%. There's a consign here. Oh wow. I was just very wrong. I got the Pyroclasm for the Emery. I think it's easier to keep them off weapons manufacturing because I also have the Pyroclasm for the Arcbound Ravager. That makes sense. And then next turn I can go Shredder Lantern. And then I don't hate the position we're in. You may also notice that their time is like 10 minutes lower than us in the part that was cut out of game 2. They just took forever on everything, and yeah, they were like taking forever on decisions when I had 2 mill rocks and they couldn't really do anything. Consign, Kappa, Pinnacle. Yeah, I think I kind of have to. Well, maybe I can get. Actually, I could probably get away with Lantern Shredder here because I have to keep them off of that for one. Um, yeah, that's a card I would not like you to have. But we can go Scheming Symmetry or Pyroclasm into Scheming Symmetry or vice versa. Probably the Scheming Symmetry first, although they see the Pyroclasm on top, so they're probably not going to play into it as much. And then Ravager can survive, but will get Ensnaring Bridge. And then I believe they have 1 unknown. And then obviously Engineered Explosives. Do not want them to draw, and killing Emery here is very important. And I would say if we end up okay, I don't know why you would cast the Emissary when you know we have Pyroclasm coming. If we do end up establishing a lock in this game, I would say it's likely that our opponent times out before we are actually able to like mill them out. We're just gonna go Spire, black, red, Pyroclasm, get rid of this Emery, Symmetry, except we'll break the Symmetry with Codex Shredder. Grab ourselves an Ensnaring Bridge, see a land under it, which is not the worst. I mean, we're probably like symmetrying next turn, no, we play Ensnaring Bridge. That's fine. Really tanking our opponent here. Mishra's Bauble, we let you have a Mishra's Bauble. That's fine. And see, that's exactly why we let you have that, because Pithing Needle is big bad news, although with Fiery Eyelet, depends how impatient our opponent is. do wonder if they play Arcbound Ravager, can they make a Ravager stack big enough? Or do we just need a Pyroclasm here? I don't know. We can also Scheming Symmetry for a Molten Collapse if they do play this Pithing Needle. We're going to auto-yield to those targets. Yeah, Mishra's Bauble obviously is good, and I think it's a good card for them to tutor. Because part of the issue with Symmetry is that we're putting a guaranteed good draw on top, so it makes it, if their next card down after we tutor is a good draw, then they're immediately into seeing two relevant cards in a row, which is how we die. So getting something like Bauble, which is like on the edge of do we mill it or not, and with one rock we don't mill it. I don't think that makes sense at all. Um, what does he play here? Okay, yeah, he's gonna put that draw trigger from Mishra's Bauble onto the stack, and I think he's gonna hold up Fiery Islet. Which means no Ravager. I mean, I think we gotta try because we just gotta force him to crack the Islet. We know we have the Symmetry for the other, like for the Molten Collapse. Yeah, so Pithing Needle, Milling the Saga is good. Claws of Gix is fine. Metallic Rebuke is not particularly fine, but I think there's a decent chance he uses it on Pyroclasm. And weapons, that's a problem. So we'll see. Gonna be an interesting turn for both of us to navigate here. Because I think we're just playing Pyroclasm. We can't get weapons with Pithing Needle because we can't use Codex Shredder to mill the Pithing Needle. We have to use Lantern to sacrifice here. Yeah. So holding up Metallic Rebuke might use it on the Pyroclasm. What are we looking at? Yeah, we're over 2 hours, I think. Pretty typical for Lantern Leagues. You gotta keep Claws of Gixing. You still got a Ravager in hand. Gets in for one. And then this might just be a Shoxy or out of time game if they're not able to kill us fast enough. Which, like, I don't like doing. And in terms of testing how well the deck actually works, that's a good card. Colorless Red Pyroclasm. Just lets it go, eh? Well, with weapons on top, we're gonna Scheming Symmetry here, and then probably Cracking Lantern. Oh, he's got Rebuke, right. No, I'm not gonna pay 3 to prevent this. And weapons is too much here. And yeah, I think I mean, we know he's playing one Pithing Needle. So if we draw either of our Molten Collapses, we're fine. Kappa Cannoneer. That's what this looks like. Kappa's fine. And then Arcbound Ravager is his last card. Yeah, I mean, we're not dead. Or Kappa's, one of these two is what he drew. I don't know what he was holding. Probably the Kappa, because Urza's Saga would have come down earlier, I think. So we can Inquisition the Arcbound Ravager. Like if I was deterministically dead and they were out, like they were low on time, yeah, I would concede. But from here, like we're not just dead, so I'm not just gonna concede because we're not dead. Um, yeah, obviously this needle is kind of unfortunate, and we saw that in round four too against um against Affinity as well, where like the placement of the one pithing needle actually ended up mattering a lot. And Krang draws four. Pretty good card right there. Are you gonna play some zero drops? Fiery Islet, three unknowns. Yeah, they're gonna time out. Bit unfortunate for our opponent here. Again, like I said, we have outs to this. They're not dead. There's um a lot that can still work for us here. But let's talk about our games quickly. We beat Neobrand. I think that was the best. Scheming Symmetry and Surgical Extraction looked. We then lost to Dimir Flash, which I think is a tough matchup regardless of the version of Lantern you're playing because of how many counter spells they run. Lost to the Sam Leo deck, which that deck kind of, I think, just ragdolls Lantern no matter what. If you've had success in that matchup, let me know, but I think that is a terrible matchup for Lantern. And then we split two games with Affinity, which I think is fine. I'm happy with that. But let's go back to the deck and talk about Scheming Symmetry. So overall, how did Scheming Symmetry do with the deck? And overall, record-wise, it was fine. We went 2-3. I think we had some tough games. We had some games that we did pretty well. Did run into a couple rough matchups, but nothing like crazy out of the ordinary. I think in terms of Scheming Symmetry as a card, I thought it was fine. There weren't many situations where we had symmetry and we couldn't cast it because we didn't have a way of breaking the symmetry, or if we did, like there were a few hands where we kept it in the opener without anything, but then because we have so many cards that work well with it, we're able to just wait a couple turns to cast it and then it's fine. I think the league really highlighted the importance of ensnaring bridge. So having either symmetry or bridge in your opener is very important. And I think a lot of the viability of this deck is going to hinge on surgical extraction, where in metas where surgical is very strong, I think this list is well positioned, could probably be fine-tuned a bit, but I think this list is fine if surgical extraction is good. So if you play in a local meta with a lot of combo, with a lot of graveyard, reanimator, Goryo's Vengeance, decks like that, I think this list can perform very well. If you play in a list with a lot of Affinity, Boros, kind of more low to the ground aggressive decks that Surgical doesn't do a ton of, or decks that have a lot of redundancy, probably not going to do great. But overall, Symmetry definitely played a lot better than I think the consensus that most people have on it is. So that's a good sign. Do I think this is the perfect build of Symmetry? No, but we named it Symmetry Lantern version 1.0 for a reason. So I did like it. Yeah, not as bad as everyone thinks it is. Definitely can be playable. Very dependent on surgical extraction. See you guys in the next one.